The Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs just find the next Brock Bowers. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but that's what I'm going to talk about in today's video because they are recruiting a young man by the name of Brock Harris out of Utah, who is an absolute baller. He was in Athens this past weekend for the big scavenger hunt weekend, and he spoke to Dog Post about what his favorite parts were, what he likes about Georgia, his meeting with Kirby Smart, Todd Hartley, a lot of great stuff. And you can read that over on Dog Post right now, but I'm going to break down that, where Georgia stands at tight end, because they are tight end university, right? Todd Hartley is the best tight ends coach in college football, and he's proven that. And that's one thing that Brock Harris learned from this past weekend. And I'm going to dig into that a little bit more. But even without Brock Bowers, the greatest college football tight end of all time, Todd Hartley still has this train going. He's got one of the best tight end rooms in the country. He's got two of the best committed in the 25 class. And Brock Harris is a guy that you need to know about in the 2026 class that could give Georgia a similar type of Brock Bowers. Now, I don't think we're going to see a guy like Brock Bowers for a long, long time. But Brock Harris is 6'6", 240, caught 55 passes last year for 665 yards, 8 touchdowns. And when you watch the film, it only takes a few clips for you to realize, okay, yeah, I get why Todd Hartley is after him. He gave me some great quotes about his visit to Athens, and I'm going to break that down and more. But first, gotta plug collegebronze.com. If you're still looking for a Father's Day gift, if you're still looking for a graduation gift, this is it. You don't have to scramble. 35 pounds of stone. The details are amazing. They got the metal spikes here. This is the best looking, most detailed Bulldog statue on the market, and you can get a discount, okay? Did you hear that? You can get a discount today. Promo code DOGPOST when you check out. You can check out and order yours in the description below. So in the description in this video is all the details. You can read all the 5-star reviews. Order yours today. It is the perfect Father's Day or graduation gift for that Georgia Bulldog fan in your family, or if it's a friend. It's a great gift. Get yours today with the discount promo code DOGPOST. Okay, Brock Harris. Got him on the phone on his way back to Utah. Basically said, how's the visit? What did you learn? I said it was great to get an inside look on how they produce tight ends and how well they do it. My favorite part was talking to Coach Smart one-on-one and enjoying the scavenger hunt. We talked about their tight end usage and their offense. Coach Hartley is easily one of the best coaches out there, and I can absolutely see myself playing for him. He's a great guy, too. I know Todd a little bit. He's a good dude, but he is an ace on the recruiting trail. Todd Hartley gets his guys. He develops them and sends them to the league, and that's what they told Brock Harris. He said we had a meeting with Coach Hartley, and he showed us all the statistics and the production from his tight ends. I'm sure that meeting lasted a long, long time. I think he's produced 9 tight ends in the NFL from 2017 until now. I don't know if that number's correct, but off the top of my head, it's very close to 7. It could be 7. That is an incredible number. He said it's really impressive. He showed me some numbers and film from Darnell Washington, Brock Bowers, and some of the guys in his room right now. They were in 12 personnel about 60% of the time last year. So he said that basically stood out. They play the tight ends. We saw a lot of Oscar Delp as a freshman, as a sophomore last year. It's going to be his room this year. Ben Urisic coming in from Stanford. He's got a veteran, some veteran experience who's going to play this year. Lawson Lucky is going to play. And then there are 2 freshmen. Jaden Riddell could be the next superstar at tight end for the Georgia Bulldogs, but Brock Harris can play. He's got strong, dependable hands. And he told me, he goes, I'm more of a blocker because of my size, 6'6", 240. There are not a lot of 6'6", 240 players in Utah. So this kid, even though he's just a sophomore last year, was just crushing those kids. Excuse me. That was awful. I don't know what that was. Just ate a pub sub. I don't know if that was a little piece of lettuce or what. I'm still drooling, I guess. Brock Harris is an absolute dog. He's catching the ball with one hand. I think the second clip, he goes and just I want to say Randy Moss beat Brock Bowers, the kid. If you remember, I guess a couple years ago, Brock Bowers had a monster game at South Carolina, and he won a jump ball in the end zone where he just leaped over and just took the ball from him. That's what Brock Harris can do. A few clips later, he runs, they put him in the slot and he runs like a corner route in the end zone, just reaches up and snags it with one hand. I mean, this kid is really impressive. And when, I spoke with someone very close to Georgia's tight ends room when I was watching Ethan Barber last year, and I said, hey, who are some of the top 2026 guys? Brock Harris is the first guy I mentioned. So this is definitely a guy that you need to keep an eye on. But he's down the road, right? And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't care about recruiting anymore. It doesn't matter. All these kids are out for the money in the transfer portal. I just can't, focus on recruiting anymore. Listen, I don't make the rules. You're not a five-star Georgia fan if you don't follow recruiting, right? How can you say that you are a massive, massive diehard Georgia fan if you don't follow recruiting? It's still important. That's still how you win championships. You don't win national championships through the transfer portal. You win it through elite recruiting and elite development, and that's what's happening at Georgia. So I know Brock Harris is young, but he's a guy that you want to tell your friends about. You don't want your friends to tell you about this kid down the road. I'm telling you about him now because he is a big deal, and he had a very, very successful visit to Athens. But Georgia's got two guys in front of him that are dogs as well. So now I'm just going to talk about the tight ends and what to expect moving forward. I believe the plan for Oscar Delp is to stay for the 2025 season. He could leave after this upcoming season as a junior, after his third year, if he has a monster season, which he could have. I've been talking about Oscar Delp for years and years and years. I was the first person to tell Georgia fans about Oscar Delp years ago on this channel. So I know what he can do. I think he's bound for a big year. Ben Yurcik is going to play a lot. Again, they love two tight ends. You can run out of a two tight end set. And when you recruit these types of athletic pass-catching tight ends, you want to have as many on the field as possible. So you're going to see those two. Again, you're going to see Lawson Lucky, who I think could take a big step in year two. He flashed a little bit last year, and I think he is going to play a decent amount this year. Jaden Riddell, I mentioned him earlier, fantastic tight end with athleticism, who can stretch the field, can play out wide, can play in the slot, can play your traditional tight end, but that's a kid with a lot of muscle on him, who can move, who can catch. Big time player, big time pass catcher. I think that could be, in 2 or 3 years, we could be talking about Jaden Riddell being the best tight end in college football. At least in the conversation, that's how good he is. But then in the 25 class, if you do follow recruiting, which you should be watching this channel to get all your recruiting news. That's a given. But you already know the guys. Ellis Williams, 5-star, Camden County. Ethan Barber was at Alpharetta. Now he's at Milton. Ethan Barber is legit. I don't care where he's ranked. They've got it wrong. I don't even know where he's ranked on the other sites, and I know that it's too low. This guy can absolutely play. Caught 49 passes last year, 966 yards, 12 touchdowns. I saw him beat Pope. I know if you know high school football, Pope ain't great, okay? Pope's not great. Love the new coach that they've got. He's a good, he's a buddy of mine. But last year, they were not good at all. Ethan Barber still crushed them. Played like a receiver. He's terrific after the catch. He can run a great route. I saw him play against Sammy Brown and Jefferson when he was a sophomore. Had over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game, I believe. He's a difference maker and an easy pass-catching tight end who I think has a very bright future ahead of him. Ellis Williams, again, he caught 25 passes last year. Run-heavy offense in Camden County. They ran for over 3,000 yards as a team last year. So they kept it on the ground. But when they threw it to Ellis Williams. 25 catches, 530 yards. That's a lot of yards per catch. Should have done the math earlier. I didn't, so I don't have it in front of me. I'm not going to do it in my head. I went to Kennesaw State. I'm not a math guy. I'm not a numbers guy. And 7 touchdowns. So 7 touchdowns on 25 catches. He's a big play machine. Dude runs like a deer. 6'7", 235. Multi-sport guy, basketball player, track star. He's an easy 5-star. One of the better tight ends that has come through the state of Georgia, in my opinion, in quite some time. So he is a massive target because of his frame, athleticism, his hands, and again, his ability to take off down the field. He runs really well for his size. He's tough to bring down. So I really don't think you could, I don't think Todd Harley could do a better job in the 25 class. He's got 2 of the absolute best tight ends in the country already on the commit list. He can look to 2026 now, and that's where Brock Harris comes into play. So I'm not calling him Brock Bowers, but if you turn on the film, some of the stuff he does might remind you of Brock Bowers. And the staff even told him, hey, we're going to use you both ways. You know, we know what you can do as a run blocker, but we also want you to catch passes. And Brock Harris said, you know, they brought out the Brock Bowers film, said, hey, you know, you kind of compare to him this way, that way. You can read more overall dog posts. His kid, I don't know if I've said it yet, he's 6'6", 240. I should have said that earlier. 6'6", 240. So he's not as fast as Brock Bowers, but he's bigger, and he can still haul in some passes. He's going to be a big-time target, already is, and he's a guy that Georgia fans need to know about. So there you have it. You're all up to date on the tight ends and tight end recruiting. So again, happy to make you a smarter Georgia fan. Get your Bulldog today. Discount, promo code, DOGPOST, DAWGPOST. Your dad's going to love it. Your grandfather's going to love it. Your son's going to love it. Your recent Georgia graduate buddy is going to love it. You can get a discount today. We love ours. Go get yours. Yeah, it'd be the smartest thing you ever did, at least today. Go do it, and I'll see you over on the website.